Salve a tutti e benvenuti in questo nuovo video. Tra poco seguirà l'intervista che abbiamo realizzato insieme a Nicola a Jeff Menges durante il PAUPERGEDDON 2025. Prima di iniziare volevo ringraziare Boose MTG e tutto quanto il suo team per il tempo messo a disposizione dall'artista e la disponibilità sempre nel farci realizzare questi video. Buona visione.
I'm Nicola, by the way.
Nice to meet you, Nicola.
Okay, so your career has begun more than 30 years ago as one of the first 25 Magic the Gathering artists, and you're part of the limited edition and a lot of Magic sets. Welcome, Jeff Menges.
Thanks.
How's this PAUPERGEDDON going?
It's off to a very busy start. I've been busy all morning. Glad to be inside. It's very hot out. So far, so good.
Okay, what are the players bringing to you the most?
Because this is a pauper-driven event, I'm seeing a lot of cards that I don't normally see.
Okay.
And I welcome that. I love to see different cards to sign and for players to appreciate other cards. At more of the competitive events that I attend, I only see a couple of cards and I see them again and again and again.
The one that are being played in the decks more.
Sure.
Like,
You know, always swords,
yeah.
divine offering, sometimes moats, sometimes bazaars. That's most of it. Yeah.
Okay. Do you want to tell us what was the vibe when everything started? How did Jesper Mirfors bring you in this new game that was growing?
Sure. My involvement with Wizards goes back to time before Magic. In 91 and 92, when the company was just starting, they were making role-playing products, and I was working with them to do black and white drawings for the interior of their role-playing games.
Okay.
And the first people that they asked to do art for Magic were the artists they were already successfully working with. So that was myself, Brian Snowdy, Chris Rush, Dan Gellin, and there were a few others that were all working with them in 91 and 92. And we were amongst the first artists that they asked to become involved with the card game.
So the idea of having like an illustration was always there, because we were talking earlier that if Magic didn't have illustration, it would be like a totally different game. It would be like very kind of boring actually, because it would be just text.
No, I think the art was important because it makes it a visual identifier that you can see from across the table. So when your opponent put down a card, if you had to read it, you wouldn't have that same acknowledgement. But because you see a picture and you know what the picture means, then you already know what your opponent is doing, and the game works in a whole different level.
So you illustrated a lot of cards for a lot of sets, but something that made me curious was what happened with Arabian Nights, because you only had one card there.
Right.
Were you working at something else in the meantime, or something happened?
Well, I was based on the East Coast at that time. I still am. And what I was told was that the game was doing very well, and they were going to do a new set. And people that I had worked with on Alpha and Beta were getting calls and getting new assignments. And I was like, okay, I'll wait. I'm imagining that he'll call me. And I waited, and I waited, and I waited, and I never seemed to get the call. So I called them, and I said to Jesper, I heard you were giving out cards. And I don't know his exact words, but it was something like, "Oh my God, I can't believe I missed you." And he checked his list and there was one card left to assign. So the last card assigned on the Arabian Nights set was Bizarre Baghdad, to my knowledge. And I got it. And because I only had one card, I put a lot of extra time into it and made it very complex.
Okay.
If I had had 4 cards or 6 cards in Arabian Nights, it might not have been the same design layout.
Okay.
But I felt like I could put extra time into the painting. And because I did that, it is one of my most complex images in the game.
Okay. So let's go back to those 25 artists. In 2013, you published The Gathering Reuniting Pioneering Artists from Magic, a collection with illustration from the first 25 artists of limited edition. Have you kept in touch with them and maintained a friendship?
Well, it was funny when we did the book, we had definitely drifted apart. So after that 20-year period, some of the artists weren't working in fantasy art anymore. Some of us still were, but most of them were out of Magic for one reason or another. So when Brian Wackwitz and I first discussed the idea for the book at a dinner and realized that we could pull this idea together ourselves. And he knew he still had connections with a couple of artists and I still had connections with just a couple. And we reached out to them and explained what we were doing and everybody seemed very positive about the idea. And we said, okay, well, we need contacts for anybody else that you know in that early group. So it was a case of just a chain.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Everybody reaching out to like, we're still looking to contact this artist and we still haven't heard from this artist. So eventually we figured out that in the first 2 years, there were 49 different artists that did at least one card. And we tried to reach as many as we could. I think there were only 2 or 3 that we could not get a response from. And we wound up with 41 of the first 49 artists in the book.
Okay. So would you say that you make like up to this day like a net of artists that you are in touch with each other?
It's much stronger now because of the book project.
Okay.
Because we didn't have a reason to get back together until the book. But when the book came out, we realized that we had a common advantage to stay informed together. So we have a private group that we can discuss things with when we need to. Like if you, hey, I need a new playmat printer, you know, who's working with somebody good?
Cool.
So we have a way to touch base with just for us. And that's a real helpful thing. And I think that the rise of old school tournament play has given us a reason to have that network and to keep it viable.
Okay.
So yeah, we're in touch better now than we were before the book, for sure.
That's really cool. So let's get back to cards. One of the things that fascinates Magic player the most are curiosities about them. Whether there are links or connection within one another, or whether they got Easter eggs inside them. Would you like to tell us some secret that hides inside your cards? And I know, for example, the story behind Sword to Plowshares or inside the Citadel Druid from Antiquities. Would you like to recount them to our friends at home?
Well, if I can imagine what stories you're referring to, the Swords to Plowshare story is that what's not so obvious from just looking at the card is that it was explained to me that you were taking an aggressive character from your opponent and making them peaceful now. They wouldn't be able to harm you anymore. So immediately I thought of a soldier who was retired.
Okay.
So I see the plowman as a soldier who is no longer fighting. And there's a phrase in English when something is behind you in your past. I took it literally and meant that something was behind the military career of the plowman, and it's the castle, it's the fortress up on the hill. So being that's behind him in the picture, it's also behind him in his past.
Okay.
And that helped me with the thought process of him being ex-military. His military past was behind him, and that's part of the communication of the message in that card for me. The druid, I'm not sure what story you might be referring to. I just know that personally, it is one of my favorite paintings of my magic career. I think if I did that painting today, I would still be very happy with it. I've retained it for myself as the whole 32 years since I painted it. I really like the way that picture captures light. It has a very specific, it looks like the end of the day because of that long shadow from the tree. And that's a very hard thing to capture in a painting, and it really is a focus of that painting. Really is a strong feature of it. And so I really like the way that piece came out. But if you're looking for something different of an Easter egg, the biggest one that I ever put in magic is in Homelands.
Okay.
I did 3 cards in Homelands, 2 Alabens Towers,
Okay.
and a Ghost Towns card. But the Alabens Towers were explained to me that they were magically drawn together, the stones in the area, to make this tower out of. So they would be kind of like dotting all over the countryside. So there are 2 Alabens Towers card, but if you look on the horizon of the Ghost Towns card, there's also an Alabens Tower
Okay.
on Ghost Towns.
Okay, that's really cool. So you said that you are proud of Citadel Druid painting
Oh, yeah.
because you think that your style has changed with time, or like.
Well, absolutely. You want to grow as an artist. A lot of the art that I'm doing now harkens back to the art that I did in the early Magic period. It is what fans like me for, the art that I did in that period, and that's what I'm known for. So my clients now like that style, and they appreciate that. It's more of a personal style than it is an achieved level of technical painting.
Okay.
So instead of striving to be a technically good painter, and that doesn't sound right because you're always striving to be technically a better painter, but I know that my style is important to the people that see my work. So I don't try and hide my style, even if it's not like the way I do trees, the way I paint water, the way I paint skies is all part of my style. And I know that it is a recognizable feature of my work, so I don't try to change it. I let it come out of me, and that's what my fans seem to like.
Okay. So I think that for this reason you have been one of the many illustrators for a new game called Sorcery for a few years now. Sadly, here in Italy the game has not been published yet, but
Distributed.
Yes, yes, sorry. But how it has been to work on something new, yet in a way similar to what were your origins. What did this new experience give to you? Are there some pleasurable differences that you would like to see in the Magic the Gathering world?
Well, Sorcery has been great to work with. They have a terrific team of personnel. It's a small group, and I think that they intend to keep it that way. They, right now they have kind of a tight control over the way the game is progressing, and maintaining that control means they're also maintaining a level of quality that they really want. I like the way that they're working on the game. As an artist, they've been terrific to work with, and they are one of those clients who appreciate the older look of my work. So I'm kind of shooting from my inner soul, put down on the paper, instead of like trying to be like another artist.
Yes.
They want what I can give them, and that's what I'm doing. And it's been wonderful to work that way, because most clients come to you and they want you to look like their style of product. And they came to me and said, no, we want you to be our style of product. So it's been terrific working with them. It's been great having a new client that's producing a large amount of material, and I've got new paintings to share with people. And it's being appreciated both by people who love this new game and also by people who know my work from the past, because it hits the same notes. It reminds them of those same things.
Okay.
It's been terrific so far.
Okay. Thank you very much for your time, and it has been great hearing your answers, talking to you.
Oh.
And you sound like really passionate about what you do, and that's beautiful. And we could also see on the art.
Thank you so much.
Very much.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.
Ciao.
Ciao.